This time on One Foot Flipper, I'm going to show you how you can sell $100,000 a year on eBay and still be homeless and possibly starve to death. Stay tuned.
One Foot Flipper.
Hi, Paige here, One Foot Flipper. Speaking of starving to death, oh my goodness, it's cold in my house right now. I guess that's not starving to death. It's cold in my house because my furnace blew up and I've got to pay $16,000 for a new one. They're coming later today. Isn't that great? I love it. Alright, today we're going to look at how bad some eBay business models are, and we're going to look at it in a way that I've never looked at it before, but showing if you sold $100,000 a year using that business model, how each one of these models would be a full-time job, and that you'd make so little money that you would not be able to live anywhere, you'd be homeless, you'd probably starve to death. Although if you got food stamps, went to the food pantry and everything else, you'd just be homeless and have food, but you wouldn't starve to death. All right. First thing we're going to look at is the light item, the light, formerly first class item at $6 shipped. You see this all over the place. You see YouTubers doing this, non-YouTubers, they're all over the place. ADH Dave just mentioned how it seems like most Funko Pops are $6 shipped now, and that's a reality, and people that we know are selling things, light items, for $6 shipped. Now let's look at the finances of this. Now, in all the finances here I'm accounting for 4% for a combination of promotions, offers, frauds, refund, damage, items that never sell, and overhead. The reality of that is much, much, much higher than 4%. I'm just putting that tiny 4% rate, when in reality most people's overhead is far more than 4%. It's usually closer to 15 or 20, because your overhead is everything. It's the gas you put in that car, it's that computer you bought for eBay, it's that scale. Did that roll of printer break? Got to buy another one. That's part of your overhead. It's all of it. In fact, also lost one of my Zebra printers. My main Zebra printer that I've used for 4 years, which was 10 years old when I got it, finally gave up. It needs a new thermal something or other. It's cheaper to buy another used one, so I'm gonna have to get another Zebra printer. Still cheaper than a new roller though. All right, let's get into that $6 shipped light item. Might have these new USB NES gamepads, $6 shipped. I bought my set of 2 from Amazon for $9.99 shipped. And also in all of these items, I'm assuming you're getting these items for free somehow, that you don't pay anything for these items. Now, when you sell that item for $6 shipped, you spend about $4.20 on shipping, assuming it falls in the 5 to 8 ounce rate. You spend about $20 cents on a mailer of some point, of some kind. Sure, you might get some free ones, but you might also have to pay for some of them later. So we're just figuring all that in. And if that item was free, if I got this for free, sold for $6 shipped, I would make 27 cents on this item. And if I sell $100,000 worth of these per year, I would clear $4,500 for the year. That would be me packing and shipping 45 of these, or whatever it is. Usually you're not going to have one item that can sell 45 a day. You have a whole bunch of different little junk. Packing, shipping 45 per day, that's a full-time job. Listing it, that's 2 full-time jobs. You do it all year, you make $4,500. And if you want to look at an hourly basis, you got to source, list, file, ship, and pack 74 $6 an hour free ship light items per hour to make $20 per hour. And you don't even actually make the $20 per hour then, because remember, you've got self-employment tax to pay. I just use 20 as that's a good self-employment option compared to just going to work at McDonald's or Subway. McDonald's or Subway, you're not going to pay self-employment tax. Usually you'll get a free sandwich, and you won't end up working hours that you aren't really paying yourself for, which you often do on an eBay business. All right, let's look at a favorite business of mine next, and of many others, is low dollar trading cards. A lot of people are wrecking themselves with low dollar trading cards. I used to as well. I'm actually going to point out a particular store here, only because this person charges money to learn about eBay from them. So Rockstar Flipper, his store is loaded with trading cards at $1.25 each, free shipping or best offer. Now, on his cards, I figured a 8-cent cost of supply, which is actually low. You're at 5 cents by the time you pay for the thermal label and the envelope, and you need a few more cents for whatever sort of packing material you're using inside with the cards, and 63 cents for standard envelope shipping, and our standard 4% for overhead. And remember, these cards were free. Somehow you got them all free. Rockstar Flipper has to source, list, file, ship, and pack 1,000 of these cards per hour to make $20 per hour. Now, here's the fun part. Standard envelope orders, they tend to go missing without getting a scan at a rate of about 1 in 200. It's a rounding error for stores that are selling cards of actual value. But when your profit margin is 2 cents and your refund cost is $1.25, then each lost envelope wipes out the profit from 62 other orders. But we're going to ignore that fact whatsoever. You sell $100,000 worth of those per year, and you will clear $1,600. You know, the average per capita in those third world nations where it also only costs $1 a day to eat. And if you do that, you are sourcing, listing, packing, and shipping 220 card orders per day for an entire year to make that $1,600. And I can tell you, if you get 220 card orders in one day, that is an 18 to 20 hour packing day. It is. I've had 150 card days before, and it has been 10 to 12 hours to pack those. So, yeah, imagine if all those cards actually sell. All right, I messed myself up a little bit this year with cheap records, so let's look at them. When I listed all my records, I gave them all the platinum listing treatment, the multiple pictures, everything laid out on the record player, 30-second video of the record playing, very high labor. Records in general are high labor because you've either got to grade them or they're extensive to photograph, and since you tend to have tons of them, the filing and pulling takes longer than average. But let's look at cheap records. Say I sell the record for $3 and I charge $5.99 shipping. The record mailer and the label going to cost me $1. Total profit is $2.24. I've got a source, list, file, ship, pack 9 orders of that per hour to make $20 an hour. However, I know from experience in records in bulk, I can process about 6 orders per hour due to the higher labor involved with the record listings. More time goes in the list, much more time goes in the listing than to the pulling or packing. But if somehow I did it anyway, and I sold $100,000 per year of $3 records, I would make $25,000 per year, which is actually the best salary on this entire list. And that is listing 30 records per day, selling 30 records per day, shipping 30 records per day, all day, all year. I'd still qualify for food stamps. My house is paid for, so I could actually live off of that, but I wouldn't want to. Now, other people's records can get way worse. If you look on eBay, regular 12-inch vinyl records, they start showing up, amazingly enough, at $3 shipped. But nobody has the $3 shipped record as their business model. However, once you get up to $7 shipped, there's pretty much an endless variety available. There are tons of people who are selling records at $7 shipped or less. So let's run the numbers at $7. All the same basic costs as above with mine. And somehow the records were free, just like if somehow mine were. The profit is 58 cents. And to make $20 an hour, selling free records at that price, you've got to be able to list, file, pull, pack, and ship 34 records per hour. And even if you don't make a video of the record, I don't know anybody who can list, pull, pack, list, and ship 34 records per hour. The listings still take a while to do. Either you've got to grade them or you've got to put a bunch of pictures. Either way, it takes a while. If you sell $100,000 worth of these records per year, you'll be listing and shipping 39 orders a day, and you will pull a cool $8,250 for the year. And that's for a full-time job that's going to take you 8 hours a day. Books. Now, you can really lose a fortune selling books and DVDs because these categories are full of charity sellers who are only paying 2% eBay fees, and they have a pre-sort media mail rate cheaper than you can get, and they're getting 20 to 30 cents per order to stuff their orders with advertisements. Now, strangely enough, those advertisements are not allowed in media mail, but they're never held accountable for stealing from the American people in this manner because they're charities. And the non-charity mega booksellers are largely doing it as well. It's very rare for me to get a book from one of those booksellers that sells for almost nothing and not have cards in it for DoorDash intros and Spotify and all that stuff like that. Those cards are in there because the seller's getting paid to put those cards in there. But all that stuff adds up to those sellers having about a $2 larger profit margin at the bottom of the market, which means that if they sell a book at the price that costs you to ship it out, they make $2. So if you were to sell a book, ship it out in a mailer, say you pay 20 cents for it, and account for 4% various expenses, then you need to get $5.32 to break even. That's to make nothing. But hey, you've got some brains. You're not sitting around in your basement huffing piss jugs all day. You're not going to sell things out for nothing, so you sell your book for $6 shipped. And that, if the book was free, has a profit margin of 55 cents, people. 55 cents. That would have gotten you a soda in 1998 out of the vending machine at the annoying places who are like my wife and calling right now, even when I told her not to. No, it wasn't my wife. It was the heating and air conditioning people who are coming to take $16,000 of my money away from me and give me a new furnace and a new air conditioner. There's my wife. Now she's texting. Hi, honey. Nope, it's another text from the heating and cooling. I should have known that. My wife has a separate ding. So does one of my kids' friends' moms. Everybody else does the quietest whoosh in the world. The mom just has one because I tended to always miss her text messages for some reason. All right. Where were we? Let's say, okay, if you haven't been huffing piss jugs and you're selling your books, $6 shipped, 55-cent profit margin. Go. To do that, and if you source, list, file, ship, and pack 36 of those per hour, you can make $26 an hour. $20 an hour. And if you sell $100,000 a year of those books, you will be shipping 45 orders per day. That's a full-time job. You will make $9,000. Sorry, $9,100 per year doing it. So, how do these numbers look to you, people? So many people ignore numbers like this because they just wrap all this stuff that doesn't make any money into the rest of their business, and they let it drag the rest of their business down when most of the time, even if free, all these numbers are based on free items, people. They'd be better throwing the items in the trash than they are selling them at this rate. But working full-time at McDonald's makes you more money than absolutely any of these business models, including my record model, which at least makes $25,000. All the rest of these are so actively bad that you're going to qualify for every government benefit in the world and you'll still be dirt poor. Is that the life you want? Then stop specializing and selling the stuff. You aren't making money. If you know anybody else who isn't making money, tell them about this channel. Maybe it'll help them. I could use the subs. Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon.